The Forgotten City Beneath the Lake, a true story that will leave you speechless. In the summer of 1954, as the heat waves rolled through Georgia, USA, a small construction crew stood by a massive valley where a new dam was being built. They called it the Buford Dam, and behind it would form a man-made reservoir, Lake Lanier. On paper, it was a project of progress, designed to provide electricity, flood control, and water supply for millions. But what no one talked about was what lay beneath that soon-to-be lake. An entire town alive with history, memories, and people who never really left. The town's name was Oscarville, and its story is one of America's most chilling, forgotten chapters. The Birth of Oscarville. In the late 1800s, Oscarville, Georgia was a small but thriving community. It was home to hundreds of African-American families who had built schools, churches, and farms after the Civil War. Life wasn't easy, but it was theirs, honest, proud, and peaceful. But in 1912, everything changed. That year, a series of racial tensions exploded after a white woman named May Crow was found dead near the town. Without evidence, local mobs blamed several black men from Oscarville. Within days, 2 were lynched publicly, and hundreds of innocent black families were forced to flee their homes. Their land, rich farmland, was stolen, burned, or seized by others. Oscarville became a ghost town overnight. For years, the area remained mostly abandoned, a silent witness to hatred and injustice, until decades later, the government saw the valley's open land as the perfect site for a new reservoir.
Building Lake Lanier and burying history. In 1956, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began flooding the area to create Lake Lanier. As the water rose, so did the ghosts of Oscarville. Houses, churches, barns, and even cemeteries were left behind. Residents who lived nearby said they could still see rooftops and treetops poking out of the water for years. Divers reported eerie encounters, church steeples rising out of the murky depths, entire roadways preserved underwater. It wasn't just stories. It was real. To this day, beneath Lake Lanier's shimmering surface lies the remains of Oscarville, untouched, unmarked, and unacknowledged. The haunting legacy. Since its creation, Lake Lanier has become infamous, not just for its history, but for its terrifying reputation. Over the decades, more than 700 people have died in boating accidents, drownings, or mysterious disappearances there. Locals whisper that the lake is cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who were wronged. Divers claim they've seen frozen hands reaching out from the deep, cars resting at the bottom with skeletons still inside, and strange sounds echoing in the dark water. Even the most skeptical people admit something about Lake Lanier feels wrong. In 2012, a Georgia diver named Buck Buchanan told reporters he'd seen things under the water that still haunted him. It's like time stopped down there. You'll see entire structures, boats, debris, like a sunken world. A forgotten story comes to light. For decades, the story of Oscarville remained buried, both literally and historically. Few people talked about what really happened in 1912. Schools didn't teach it, and official documents rarely mentioned the racial cleansing that drove hundreds of families from their homes. But thanks to researchers, journalists, and descendants of those families, the truth is resurfacing. Historians have pieced together records showing that more than 1,100 black residents were forced out of Forsyth County, Georgia during that dark period. Their land, thousands of acres, was never returned. Instead, it lies under one of America's busiest recreational lakes,
visited by millions every year. Imagine that for a moment. Families swimming, laughing, and boating above an entire drowned town, where once generations lived and dreamed. The modern mystery. Today, Lake Lanier is a strange paradox. It's beautiful and deadly, peaceful and haunted, a playground and a graveyard all at once. Some visitors describe an eerie calm, as if the water remembers what it hides. Local legends say that on quiet nights, you can still hear faint singing echoing from the depths, church hymns from Oscarville's lost congregation. Others report lights flickering under the water, as if the town itself is trying to shine again.
The truth beneath the surface. In recent years, activists have called for public acknowledgement of Oscarville's story. Some propose erecting a memorial near Lake Lanier, while others demand the state recognize what happened as a historical atrocity. It's more than just a haunted lake story. It's a reflection of America's buried past, both literally and morally. Every time a wave crashes on Lake Lanier's shore, it's as if history whispers, "Remember me." The hidden lesson. The story of Oscarville isn't just about tragedy. It's about truth, resilience, and the cost of forgetting. Beneath the tourist boats and jet skis lies a real town with real people who once sang, worked, and dreamed of a better life. This story reminds us that progress built on injustice is never truly progress. It's just a beautiful mask over a painful truth. And as the sun sets over Lake Lanier, painting the water gold, it almost feels like the lake itself is alive, breathing, waiting for someone to finally listen. Final words. So next time you hear someone talk about the beauty of Lake Lanier, remember the town that sleeps beneath it. Remember Oscarville, the forgotten city under the waves. Because sometimes the most astonishing stories aren't found in myths or movies. They're right beneath our feet, buried in plain sight.